This is Shane Bedingfield. Thank you. This is Shane Bedingfield / the Texas Torque Wrench. I'm coming to you live from the same place, downtown Fayetteville, North Carolina. And we got a big show today because we got an agenda today, and this is going to go on for quite a while, I bet, until we get the WWE Network to react. And it involves a situation that actually had just about as worse effect on the business as ECW did. As Mick Foley, because Mick Foley was actually bad for business. And the Hardy Boys were really bad for business because you can tie them to, all three of them, to the Backyarders. And, but this may have had a worse effect. And I'm talking about that little brief of WCW history called the Finger Poke of Doom. That involved Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan. And it was bad TV, it was bad business, and if you co-sign that, you need to break out the pain medication and start playing with them. Or you need to go play in traffic. Or you need to try stopping a bank robbery without a gun. Or need to go mess with the cops, or need to go pick a fight with the MS-13, or go pick a fight with the skinheads, because you're full of it. Because there's nothing right about the Finger Poke of Doom. There was nothing right about it. It was absolutely the worst thing ever done. It makes wrestling traditionalists suicidal. There's nothing good about it. You think Bill Watts liked that? You think Eddie Graham would have liked that? You think Gary Hart would have liked that? You think Jerry Jarrett would have liked that? No. So now we got an agenda. We're probably gonna hit on this once every week or so, just to call up the WWE Network's butt. Because it's just okay. All you listeners out there. What was good about it? Tell me one thing that was good about the Finger Poke of Doom. There's nothing. Actually, the two guys that did it looked out of shape at the time that they did it. They looked fat. I mean, what good was it? Okay, they may have timed it right around peak time, and, it was something nobody thought of at the time. But if you thought of that, the booker should have been able to think of something else a little bit different. You don't ever go to a booking committee meeting with just one idea in mind. You got to know where you're going with it. When they did that, they had no idea where they was going with it. Okay, one guy takes back the belt, there it is, and see, then that comes back to the whole deal where a wrestling title absolutely means nothing anymore. And I don't even... When you say title, that does right whenever the whole wrestling business goes sour anyway, because a lot of times, in some places, the guys who have the belts don't even have the belts on them. The guy that's booking has the belts in his bag. So... it's just they're not champions 24/7 like Harley Race was. I mean, this is terrible. I don't know who did that, Bischoff, Russo, or who. Nash was booking a little bit then. Was Nash on the Somas and the Wacky Weed right around then? Now I know Hulk Hogan, he can't do anything without having to have his way. He's like the uncle that shows up and eats all the food all the time. I mean, it's the way it is. I'm sure he's going to show up at WrestleMania and eat all the food and catering. And between him and Big Show. And it's just like, I mean, what's good about it? What was good about the finger polka dome? I mean, what? It's terrible. And it was boring. It'd been different if they actually did a match and then worked their way back around and then did it. But still, then it was still going to be terrible. You know what I'm saying? If he would have beat him down to the point where a finger poke would have beat him, went like an hour and 15 minutes. God knows Hulk Hogan can go an hour and 15 minutes. If he had a time travel machine, neither could Kevin Nash. That's when, Hogan needed a guy like Flair, because when you work the leg, you can do that. So, but no, they go out there, two guys, and that was in the age of whenever the big finish was the big deal, and everybody started booking the big finish, and went out there and run the business. After Vince McMahon went out on national TV and said, oh, by the way, we're entertainment, so I can have a grade B movie company. And, you know what I was looking at the other day? If you compare WWE's, even when they shoot stuff I guess you could say off campus, like when they're doing like the diva photo shoots and stuff, they're not that good. And like if you went out there with a live camera and like you compare it to like the camera scenes in an older movie like Bad Boys 2, the cameras are freaking terrible. I mean, or if you compare it to even like some of the scenes in Guy Ritchie's movie Revolver, the cameras are not that good. So really, Vince is operating with grade B camera equipment. It didn't hit me till the other day. Wrestling's always going to be second fiddle to UFC because of the camera shots. And the camera's not that good. The lighting is grade B. They use the wrong music. They don't create the gladiator image. I mean, WWE's got a lot of work to do. Their PR department's terrible. Stephanie gets butt hurt too easy. It's like, I mean, they're running, Triple H is booking this match and all this. Booking, WrestleMania, so he'll come out on top because he's scared to death that none of the young guys are going to step up. I think the Shield, when it's all said and done, is going to go down as a failure in the guys from the Shield because there's just not that much you can do with them. They're all limited. They're all one-dimensional. The one guy that could do a lot, Dolph Ziggler, I mean, it's just... And it all goes back to the finger poke of doom, because that there's when everybody, that's whenever it got accepted to be a soft worker. I mean, come on. So from now on, once a week, I'm going to do a show where we are absolutely going to crawl up to WWE's networks, Vince, Linda, Stephanie, and Paul Levesque last Triple H's butt until the finger poking is off of YouTube and is off the WWE network for good. Burn the tapes. Not only that, burn the tapes, but also burn the building that had the tapes, because it's cursed. The building that holds the tapes of the Finger Poke of Doom is cursed too. So if that's in Stamford, Connecticut, get a demolition crew in and destroy the buildings, because it's cursed. It's never going to work. It's got the one thing from wrestling history that was bad for the business. There was nothing that came about it. If Vince wanted those tapes so bad from WCW, he should have thought about it and destroyed the Finger Poke of Doom while he could. Instead, no, it's running all over the place on YouTube. And even take off the interviews about the Finger Poke of Doom. If we get it done, I'll give authorization to remove this too. And remove all the stuff I've done talking about the Finger Poke of Doom. And all the interviews with Billy Gunn and all them about the Finger Poke of Doom. It's all got to be destroyed. It's got to be like shredded, like it was in D.C., like some top secret stuff that went down that shouldn't have happened. It's got to be like that. It can't be involved in wrestling history anymore, because then it's sending bad vibes to the new kids. Like certain things are, like those two indie idiots that got supposedly hypnotized by a couple guys dancing some hypnotic trance music, and they went over in the match. That ain't even good entertainment. See what the Finger Poke of Doom has done? It's like a dog bite. A dog bite ain't even, like what's his name? Chad the Bulldog, the buffet eater bird, ate, did with me. He did that dog bite. Hell, the dog bite ain't a legitimate move. It ain't even good entertainment. So that's got to go too. Biting the ear, if you don't actually bite the guy's ear off, don't do it. See, and that all goes back to the Finger Poke of Doom. Certain things got accepted, all right. Now, I don't know if, Hulk Hogan and them were in there smoking some wacky weed. Well, there was a pretty good chance they were, and taking somas and doing coke and, drinking beer backstage, which there's nothing wrong with, but, I mean, come on, though. I don't even think like a Skid Row drunk would come up with something that bad. I mean, that's just terrible acting. That's terrible writing. That's terrible TV. But look at the WCW's cameras. The cameras were terrible there. Hence, there again, the wrestling business has always been cursed by bad cameras. And I got news for you, Kevin Dunn. You're not doing too much better. So, I mean, if you even look at Bray Wyatt's and Undertaker's teleprompter stuff, it ain't that good. It could be way better. And that all goes back to the Finger Poke of Doom. You can blame almost everything bad in modern wrestling history, the bad booking, to the Finger Poke of Doom, because those guys have had so much power over time. So the Finger Poke of Doom has to go. That's all there is to it. We got to shred all the documents. We even got to shred, on top of that, destroy the buildings, destroy the cameras that filmed the Finger Poke of Doom. Shred demolish the Titan Towers if there's where they're at. I mean, it's got to be demolished because it's cursed. It's like the Amityville Horror. It's got to go. In fact, the guys that handled the tapes for the Finger Poke of Doom, they have to go they got to go to confession. They got to do something. They have to go to a Tibetan monastery. They got to do something. All the hands that's handled the finger poke of dooms, tapes, have got to go. The people that, including me, that talked about the finger poke of doom, they need to go see their spiritual advisor, because there's nothing good about it. There was nothing good about it. It's got to go. Like I said, once we get them removed, my stuff that I'm saying about it has got to be removed too, because it's a wrestling curse. It's worse than the Von Erichs. It was bad TV. So, with that being said, I mean, look at the guys that did it. The guys that did it, they were robbing WCW and Ted Turner and AOL and all them. They were robbing them, getting those big payouts, and then they go out there and basically take a night off to do that stupid, whatever you want to call it. It's not even like a good circle jerk. That's what's crazy about it. I mean, okay, you're going to go out there and cut a bad promo, cut a bad in-ring promo, and then do that? Come on. I mean, whose idea was that? And Ted Turner actually let him get by with it. They thought it was revolutionary. Then that made it okay where, you know how guys are, the guys in the business were, if they got by with that, we can work even softer now, so wrestling will become even less legit. Then hence comes in UFC in 1997 and makes them all look like idiots, even though the UFC was a work. Because the UFC was there to promote Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. So, look at it. It was terrible. It makes people suicidal. I mean, how do you think Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk feel about it? What about, what about Billy Robinson? Guys like that. Guys that, Vern Gagne. Guys that didn't want the business, that wanted the business to be taken seriously. Fritz Von Erich, guys like that. It's just bad. What good come from it? Did those guys forget to take their medication that day or something? Or that's a brief understatement to say that they were overly medicated, because they were self-medicated, because that's the only way you can do a show like that. So, they were sitting in the locker room, well, let's go out and make a mockery of the business and kill the business off. That way anybody new coming in won't be able to make any money with the business, because we got control of the business because we're fat. You ever notice that? The two guys that did that, they had they made it where 6 moves is okay, and we don't have to do that many high spots because we can't get up, and we're fat, and we're going to milk the business for all it's worth, and we're going to go make movies and laugh about, when we were on TV with crappy cameras in front of redneck inbreds down south. Because that's the only place, places like that will even accept that. They'll be like, oh, that's comedy. Well, if you want comedy, sit at home for free and watch Jerry Seinfeld. If you really want to, sit around and watch bad TV, watch American Idol whenever they're doing their auditions. Or watch it was bad for business. It was bad for business. And anybody that co-signs that is not thinking in their right frame of mind, and they're alcoholics. They have alcoholic thinking. They have addictive behavior. And it's like they need counseling. They need a priest. Sister and Nasha couldn't fix them. I mean, it's just, they have really bad, sick mental twist in their heads. I mean, it's got to go. The finger poke of doom has to be removed from wrestling history. We got to rewrite the books in wrestling history. That cannot exist. That brief moment in television history, whatever building that was actually done in, whatever arena, it's got to be destroyed. It's got to be blown up. There was nothing good about it. Everything involving the finger poke of doom has to be re-purified and destroyed. I mean, come on. I mean, Bischoff and freaking Hogan and Nash and Russo, they need to go see their spiritual advisors. They need to wash their hands of this. The WWE network needs to remove everything, including the building that it's setting in. The tapes are setting in. It has to go because it's all cursed. That's how come wrestling's dead now, is because of the finger poke of doom. The finger poke of doom was an embarrassment. The guys that did the finger poke of doom were embarrassing to the business. They're not traditionalists. They're not purists. They're bipolar. They're schizophrenic. I don't know what to say. I mean, who knows? They may have had like a brief mental lapse. Whenever you think of stuff like the finger poke of doom, you got to have some really, really sick, twisted thinking. I know that. You heard it here. I don't think Dr. Phil or Dr. Oz could have said it better. The finger poke of doom's got to go. That's all there is to it. It's like, okay, we won't put the Freebirds in the Hall of Fame, but we're going to keep on holding on to the tapes of the finger poke of doom because they're friends of ours, and they give some good, good circle, they attend some good circle jerk meetings at people's private houses on the spare time, and they go to some bowling ball parties, and they're friends of ours, and we're going to just keep on promoting it, and we're going to keep on killing the business because the finger poke of doom represents our way of bad thinking, where we actually got over and we actually robbed the people who was watching the show that night. We robbed the people that was at the arena because we didn't want to go out there and work that hard that night. We didn't want to come up with something that was actually creative. We wanted to sit around and do our drugs in the locker room and destroy the business for anybody new coming in. Because the old guys have destroyed the business. The finger poke of doom was a wrestling curse. The arena that it was done in, WCW's banner logo needs to be completely removed from wrestling history because of the finger poke of doom. It was bad TV. It was done by a couple of idiots. Because the finger poke of doom represents idiot, it represents a bad moment in wrestling history. And if whoever came up with that, come on. So, whoever's creative team that came up with that decided this, well, let's take the night off and we're going to go out there and do a bad spot. And we're going to get a chuckle out of it at the end of the night. Come on. They robbed people. It was theft by deception. They ought to go to jail for doing the finger poke of doom. Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash needs to go to jail. It's death by deception. Vince Russo needs to go to jail for coming up with that. It's literally no different than what a telemarketer or a guy who works in a boardroom does. That was the wrestling's version of stealing. It was another way for the guys to get over on the fans, steal their money, steal their time, steal their patience, steal their serenity, steal their peace. I mean, the guys that did that ought to go to jail. It was theft by deception. It's no different than what Bernie Madoff did. I mean, it's like, come on. Tell me one good thing that came out of it. Don't say Bill Goldberg. Because Bill Goldberg wasn't exactly, the greatest part of wrestling history either. The streak was not that good of an idea because it wound up being a monster they couldn't stop. And it all comes from the finger poke of doom. The finger poke of doom is a curse. It's a wrestling curse. It needs to be removed completely from wrestling history. It needs to be removed from Earth. It needs to they need to put it in a space shuttle, take the tapes from the space shuttle, put them in the space shuttle, take them up to space, and launch them out in space. Launch the ashes of the tapes of the finger poke of doom into space. And make sure that it won't land back on Earth. And they got to destroy the buildings that hold the finger poke of doom. They got to destroy the arena where the finger poke of doom happened. And then they got to destroy, bury all the remains of the buildings. It can't exist. The Titan Towers, if the Titan Towers are holding the tapes of the finger poke of doom, they need to get it destroyed too. I mean, it's a curse. It's a curse. It's like Friday the 13th, except it involves a bad spot. It's like Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like the curse that just keeps on coming back. It's like Jason. It won't die. It won't die at all. It's just, it's crazy. All right, so I'm going to say it one more time. The WWE Network and YouTube has to take down anything. They got to take down all the stuff involving the finger poke of doom. It has to go. And tomorrow we're going to talk about the PSYOP Super Bowl 50. We may come back to a little bit of DDP yoga because that's always fun to pick at. And that idiot was sitting down in the locker room during the finger poke of doom too. So it's a scam. It's Bernie Madoff. Look at the crap. Look at all the crooks that are involved. So, this is Shane Bedingfield, the Texas Torque Wrench, and the spin stops here. The Alex Jones of pro wrestling.